question, yeah? If a person with Tourette's never heard a swear word, would they swear? We know they'll say nigger. But would they swear? And the thing about Tourette's is, you never get informative Tourette's. You know, you never hear someone like someone say with Tourette's, Tony Blair's a war criminal. 9/11 was an inside job. Thank you for telling me. I didn't know. You know, and funny enough, like, you never get anyone who's anti-Semitic with their Tourette's. You know, you never get them going, Heil Hitler, you know? You never get them saying, like, stuff like, they don't understand what I say on Twitter, you know? You never hear them say that. And also, like, see people, like, who hear voices in their head. Why is the voices in their head always evil? You know, why can't the voices in their head, like, you know, give them recipes? You know, like, the voices in their head should be like, maybe you should add oregano. It's always, I'm gonna kill the whole neighborhood. So, it's not right. You know? You never hear a news story, like, today on the news, here we have Crazy Sally. Why did you clean up the whole neighborhood? Crazy Sally?
Because the voices in my head told me to do it. That's why I cleaned up the neighborhood.
George Mandelson got arrested, you know, which is great, you know. Why didn't they get him on his birthday? They could have waited. It's in October, you know. And the thing is, Prince Andrew got arrested on his birthday, you know, at 8:15 in the morning. The guy didn't get a chance to light his candles. You know, just imagine it, yeah? 8:15 in the morning, you're Prince Charles, you know? Obviously, police are at your door on your birthday. You're obviously gonna think, stripper. You know, they're gonna like, oh, we're gonna arrest you. Oh, we're gonna arrest you, are you? You're gonna put a cuss in, ooh, cuss, kinky, you know? You're gonna go and investigate me, yeah. You know, 11 hours later, he was free. And the thing is, like, I hate the fact that everyone on the Epstein list who was in a high-profile job just said, "Oh, I'm stepping down from my position." You know, like I wish the cartel members could do the same thing. You know, El Patron, the police are at my door. Don't worry, I'm stepping down. You know, I am no longer the El Patron of this cartel. I'm going off to the field now. Bye bye. I don't sell drugs. You know, I know lying does. You know, and he could be here in 10 minutes. No, I don't sell because I don't want to go to prison. You know, I don't want to go to prison. If you look under this light, my skin glistens. Yeah. You know, I can't exfoliate in prison. You know? If I ever did, my asshole would be exfoliated. And also, I got 3 good reasons why I should never go to prison. Number 1, I'm a deep sleeper. Number 2, I sleep with my mouth open. And number 3, that's a weird way to get one of your 5 a day. That's why I'll never break the law. I am a good boy. You know, but I'm from East London, you know, if you can tell from the tracksuit. And I have a big family. I'm the youngest of 6 brothers. You know, my brothers' names are Andrew, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Yeah, that's right, you guessed it. I'm Muslim. No, I don't really, I'm Christian. I love Jesus and bacon. Not together, separately. And the thing is, there are the atheists in the room. Hands up, the atheists. That's it. God, lock in. Smite them. Now, I got a question. I'm going to give 2 examples of what I think evolution is, and then I'm going to ask you a question at the end. So remember, I told you to put your hands up. And I will be First answer. First example of evolution. You get a rhino that's got a long, pointy horn and thick outer skin and can run up to 45 miles per hour. It developed those defensive tactics because of its prey, because of the predator that was preying on it. So over the years, it developed those tactics. Example B, you get a scorpion that has pincers, a poisonous tail, and a hard outer shell. It developed those things because of the spider kept on fucking with it. Yeah? So it developed those defensive tactics. My question to you people who are atheists, why aren't black people bulletproof? Answer the question. We can't outrun bullets now. The thing is, it's like someone shouted out, because evolution's racist. I was like, cool, but, you know, but we're not even stabbing. We're not, you know, because I'm from East London, and if you read the papers, there's stabbings happening every evening. It happens, it's getting ridiculous. But at the end of the day, that's what you get for heckling. And that's sort of my thing, you know. Like someone shouts out your shit, I go stab, you know. I kill, you know. That's what I think too. Yeah. That's the thing. Look, I'm not such a bad guy. You know, I'm a cat dad. Yeah, I've got 2 cats. You know, their names are Tibbles and Pandia. I know what you were thinking. I was gonna name them 2 paws and a notorious CAT. And the thing is now, every time I go to smoke weed, yeah, I kick them out the front room and I put a towel under the door. Yeah, it's not because of their lungs and I want to protect their lungs. It's because they didn't put in on this. You know, I don't hotbox cats for free. I don't know what you lot do, but I don't. You know, but before I go, like, have you ever noticed how crackheads never die from cancer? No, honestly, it's like I've seen a crackhead for the last 20 years. 20 years. And he's always been 65. You know? And he's always supposed to go to change. It's like, no, I don't have any change. It's like, I've had friends die of cancer, but this motherfucker's still alive. You know, and it's like, and I'm wondering, and King Charles has the best. King Charles had the best of everything. The best food, the best doctors, the best lawyers. You know he hasn't had the best? Best crack. I'm telling you, there's an avenue that we're missing that we need to go down. Crack is the cure for cancer. I said it. You know. Next time the doctors give up on you, just give me a call. You know. I'll be around with a kind of crack. You know. But crack is very sweet though. It is. I've done it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm from East London. I stumbled over doing crack. I was like, I tripped over like, oh, okay. Yes, but crack's not that bad. You know, it's like, no, I don't understand why people suck dick for it. You know, I don't get the necessity to suck dick for this crack. You know, maybe because I have a job. You know, maybe if I needed the money, I would like, oh my god. No, would be good. These are amazing lips. I've been told it many a time. You know. But I've got to go now. Back to East London. You know, or I'll turn into a pumpkin. You know, or I'll get stabbed. But it's like, if you want to follow me, it's easy. I'm 6'5". But if you want to follow me on Google or Facebook and all that good stuff, it's Emmanuel Paul Comedian. Yeah? Please remember to write comedian at the end, because if you don't, you're just going to get a whole bunch of churches and pastors. Good night and God bless.
Emmanuel Paul. Very, very funny. Okay, guys, are you ready?